OpenAI just shipped its fourth product in 3 weeks, kind of like the Irish twins of AI. You really shouldn't be able to put them out that fast, but every headline still mentions Anthropic, and maybe that's the story here. So OpenAI just released GPT 5.5. It's codenamed Spud. I was trying to figure out why. There's not really a why. Its newest, most capable model. It's better at coding. It's better at research. It's better at using your computer without being told what to do, which is the big new thing. 900 million weekly users, 50 million paying subscribers. It is one of, if not the most famous AI brands on earth, although it's neck and neck with Anthropic. And when I went to research the story, every single tier one outlet, Bloomberg, CNBC, Fortune, TechCrunch, they all mentioned Anthropic in the first or second paragraph, each and every one. OpenAI shipped a new model and everyone is still talking about Anthropic, which I know really bugs Sam Altman. But let me give you the timeline of all of this because the pace is insane. So April 7th, Anthropic released Mythos, the cybersecurity model that's causing everyone to freak out, triggered an emergency meeting with the Fed chair and every major bank CEO. And then on April 9th, OpenAI sent a memo to investors trashing Anthropic's revenue numbers. On April 11th, OpenAI sends a second memo blaming Microsoft for holding them back. They're just shipping memos at this point. And then April 14th, OpenAI releases GPT 5.4 Cyber, which is a model fine-tuned specifically to compete with Mythos. April 16th, Anthropic drops 4.7. April 17th, the White House invites Anthropic back in after the Pentagon kicked them out. This is like when Drake and Kendrick were both dropping diss tracks. April 20th, Anthropic passes OpenAI in revenue, 30 billion to 25 billion. 3 days later, April 23rd, OpenAI releases GPT 5.5. Carried for 2 memos, 4 product releases, 3 lost data centers, a revenue overtake, and a White House invitation to their competitor in 16 days. GPT 5.5 is OpenAI's answer to all of that. The model might actually be quite good. I'm personally more of a habitual Claude user, as you may have figured out, but I will try it out. Greg Brockman, the president of OpenAI, granted, called it a new class of intelligence. OpenAI says that you can give it a messy, complicated assignment and it figures out what to do, which is what most of my AI prompts are like. They're kind of like 2 typos away from being complete gibberish. AI usage is going to turn us all into idiots who don't know how to speak English, but that's for another time. GPT 5.5 uses multiple tools. It checks its own work. It keeps going until it's done. It's a perfectionist. It's a worker. Bank of New York tested it early and they said that the hallucination resistance is a step change. It does more with fewer tokens than 5.4. It's efficient. The benchmarks are strong. The product is seemingly very strong, but the coverage tells a different story. Fortune wrote, and granted I'm paraphrasing, that the release was partly intended to, quote, undercut a narrative building across social media that OpenAI has lost traction and fallen behind Anthropic in the race for enterprise customers. That's a business magazine saying that the model launch is partly a PR strategy. CNBC's first paragraph mentioned Anthropic's Mythos. Bloomberg's framing was about keeping pace with rivals like Anthropic. TechCrunch noted that a reporter at the press briefing immediately asked whether GPT 5.5 has Mythos-like cybersecurity capabilities. Mythos is aptly named because it really has mythology around it and a mystique. The fact that it's not widely released is also adding to all of this flavor. GPT 5.5 is OpenAI's attempt to say, look over here. So OpenAI has 900 million weekly users, yet every story about their biggest model launch of the year is framed as a response to Anthropic. The company that started the race is now being covered as the one that's panting, chugging water, trying to keep up. But here's what makes this genuinely complicated. GPT 5.5 might be the best publicly available model right now. I wouldn't know. I will go check it out and see if it can tell how many R's are in strawberry. But the benchmarks show it's retaking the lead over Opus 4.7 on coding. It ties Mythos on Terminal Bench, which is a coding benchmark. Mythos isn't even available to the public, so the product might be better. But it doesn't really matter because in the public eye, the story has already shifted. You can always build a better model, but coming up on an IPO, you can't unbuild a narrative, and the narrative to investors may actually be more valuable.